Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rick Morgan. I'm in therapy. Please give me a big hand. Come on, let me hear it. Give it to me. Thank you. I'm a storyteller. I'm a joke teller. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We've got a great lineup of entertainers for you. You're going to have a real ball. That's really good. That's what we're here for. This old guy gets up from his chair and he puts his coat on. His wife says, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to the doctor's." She goes, "Why are you going to the doctor's?" He goes, "I'm getting me some of that Viagra." She gets up from her chair. She puts her coat on. He goes, "Where are you going?" She goes, "I'm going to the doctor's too." He goes, "Why are you going to the doctor's too?" She goes, "If you're going to use that rusty old thing, I'm getting a tetanus shot." Hi, my friend Joey the Stutterer. He got engaged last February, and he and his girlfriend Marianne, they went to Aruba for a week. He had a couple of pina coladas, too many, he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he had a terrible second-degree sunburn. Marianne takes him to the hospital over there, and the doctor tells the nurse, "I want you to give him this treatment, this medication, these ointments, and give him one Viagra once every 4 hours." The nurse said, "Doctor, I can understand the treatment, the medication, and the ointments, but why the Viagra once every 4 hours?" Marianne is standing right next to the nurse. She goes, "It will keep the sheets off his legs." You get it, right? I bet you made a lot of tents when you were a kid, huh? We were all tent masters when we were kids, right? On Saturday mornings, you lie in bed a little longer, and after getting up for school, Monday through Friday, real early, so Saturday come around, you lie in bed a little longer, and you'd have some personal fun. All of a sudden, your mother would walk in the room, your knee would go up, you'd make a big top. Right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, boy. Yeah, well, you guys are married? Yeah? You do that Viagra at all? No? Yeah? I take the Viagra, not for the sex or anything. It keeps me from rolling out of bed at night. It's like a fucking kickstand. I live in a really nice condo. I got the bedrooms and garage downstairs. Second floor, I got the living room and the kitchen. And I have a little deck that I go out onto in the morning, have a cigarette, have a cup of coffee. Well, I noticed this very attractive lady. She had a similar setup to mine. She would come out onto her deck. We'd wave to each other, but we were a little too far away to really have a conversation. And one morning she came out and she held a finger up in the 1 minute, 1 moment universal sign. I nodded my head. I saw her go back into her condo, come out her front door, heading right for mine. I rushed downstairs just in time as she rang the doorbell, and as soon as I opened the door, I could clearly see she was hot and bothered. I said, "Hi." She goes, "Hi." She goes, "I feel so horny. I want to get drunk tonight. I want to have sex all night long. Are you available later?" I was trembling. I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "Good. Will you watch my dog?" By show of hands here, how many people have cats and dogs? Raise your hand. Who just has a dog? You have a dog? What kind of dog you have?
Greyhound.
Beautiful dogs. You guys are married, right?
Not yet.
No? All right, not yet? All right, well, soon. What's your name, buddy?
Richie.
Richie, and your lady?
Sharon.
Sharon? Hey, Richie and Sharon, give them a big hand. We'll encourage them to get married. Let me ask something, Richie. Who's your best friend, Sharon or your dog?
Take the fifth.
If you said Sharon, I'd say bullshit. You put Sharon and your dog in the trunk of your car, an hour later when you open it, she was happy to see you. This woman, she has a dog, it's a Schnauzer. When she calls the dog, he doesn't come over to her right away. She's concerned, she takes the dog to the vet. The vet examines the dog's ears. He goes, "Ma'am, there's nothing wrong with this dog's hearing. What I suggest, though, is once a month, take a little nair, rub it around inside the dog's ear, and take the excess hair out. And then when you call the dog, you'll have no problem. He'll come to you right away." And so on the way home, she stops at the pharmacy. She gets a tube of Nair. She puts it on the counter. The pharmacist said, "If you're going to use this under your arms, don't put deodorant on for a couple of days." She goes, "It's not for that." He goes, "Well, if you're going to use it on your legs, don't put cold cream on for a couple of days." She goes, "It's not for that either, but if you must know, it's for my Schnauzer." The pharmacist said, in that case, don't ride your bicycle for a week. These two guys are walking their dogs. One guy's got a Rottweiler, the other guy's got a Chihuahua. They see a bar across the street. It's a real hot day. The guy with the Rottweiler says, let's go in and get a cold beer. The guy with the Chihuahua goes, they'll never let us in with the dogs. He goes, oh yes they will, follow my lead. He puts a pair of sunglasses on, he goes into the bar. The doorman stops him. He goes, I'm sorry sir, no pets are allowed. He goes, my seeing eye dog. The doorman says, but sir, it's a Rottweiler. He goes, yes, they're very good at this kind of work. They're giving him out now. He lets him in. The guy with the Chihuahua knows he's going to have a tough time. But he puts the sunglasses on, he walks up to the bar, the doorman stops him. He goes, I'm sorry, sir, no pets are allowed. He goes, it's my seeing eye dog. The doorman says, but sir, it's a Chihuahua. He goes, Chihuahua? They gave me a fucking Chihuahua? Love it. You guys are great already. Come on, give yourselves a big hand. Let me hear it. There's this older couple, they're walking hand in hand down on the beach in Miami, and the old guy goes to the old lady, goes, Ethel, how old do you think I am? She goes, if you take out your penis and let me feel it, I'll tell you. He whips it out, she feels it, she goes, you're 85. He goes, how did you know? She goes, you told me yesterday. This atheist, he gets on a plane, he sits down next to a little girl who's reading a book. He goes, honey, put your book away. Let's have a nice conversation. It's more interesting. It makes the time go a lot quicker. Little girl puts down a book. She goes, okay, what do you want to talk about? He goes, well, how about there's no God, there's no heaven, there's no hell? She goes, all right, but first let me ask you a question. He goes, what? She goes, a deer, a cow, and a horse all eat the same thing, hay. When the deer goes, he goes in pellets. When the cow goes, he goes in a flat pie. When the horse goes, he goes in clumps. Can you explain that to me? The atheist scratches his head. He goes, you know, little girl, I really don't know the answer for that. And she goes, you want to talk about God, heaven, and hell when you don't know shit? Jim Brown back over here. Give him a big hand. Jim Brown. Yeah. Love you, man. We can see you, that's for sure. There's an Englishman, a Scotsman, and an Irishman. They're having pints of beer at a pub in Manchester. And the Scotsman goes, at my favorite pub back home in Edinburgh, you have 3 beers and the landlord buys you the 4th. And the Englishman goes, oh, that's nothing. In my favorite pub in London, you walk in, you have 2 beers, and the landlord buys you the 3rd. The Irish guy goes, laddies, that's nothing. At my favorite pub in Galway, you walk in, they buy you your first beer, your second beer, as many beers as you want, and then they take you upstairs and they get you laid. And the Englishman and Scotsman are looking at him and said, has this ever happened to you? Well, not exactly, laddies, but it's happened to my sister several times. Love that joke. I told you about my friend Joey, the stutterer. Well, you know, when you haven't seen somebody in a while, you know, I was so happy to see him. I'm in the shopping mall, shopping around, and all of a sudden I see him walking towards me. He goes, hey, Joey, how you doing? He goes, I am doing fine. Hey, Joey, you don't stutter anymore. That's right. I went to the doctor. He said if I speak slowly, I will not stutter. Gee, Joey, that's great. How's your girlfriend, Marianne? We are not getting married anymore. Joey, why? What happened? We were sitting on the couch watching TV, and the dog was scratching his back. I said, Marianne, when we get married, I'd like you to do that to me. And she threw the ring in my face. Gee, Joey, that's terrible. Why did she do that? Well, as you know, sorry, I speak slowly. And by the time she looked at the dog, he was licking his balls. There's this older couple in their 70s. They're talking about getting married. The woman goes, when we get married, I want to keep my house. He goes, no problem. She goes, I want to keep my Cadillac too. He goes, no problem. She goes, and I want sex 6 days a week. He goes, I'll take Fridays. Oh man, you guys are great. These two policemen, they respond to a domestic disturbance call where shots are being fired, and when they arrive at the scene, they discover that a wife has shot her husband for walking across her freshly mopped floor. They call the sergeant up on his cell phone. Hey, Sarge, we got a problem here. He goes, what is it? Looks like we have a homicide. What happened? A woman just shot her husband for walking across her freshly mopped floor. Did you arrest her yet? No, Sarge. Why not? The floors are still wet. Floors are still wet. Anybody here from Brooklyn? A lot of people. What's Brooklyn known for? So what? Pizza, right?
Drive-bys.
Mafia, right? But also very important, Brooklyn is known for attitude. These two Middle Eastern men, they immigrate to America, and of all places, they settle in Brooklyn. And they have a contest to see which one of them will be more Americanized in 1 year's time. Approximately 1 year later, the two men meet. And one said to the other, my friend, I am more Americanized than you. We eat Krispy Kreme donuts. We have McDonald's for breakfast. We have American flags all over our house. We watch lots of baseball on TV. My son, he plays ice hockey. I coach a team. My wife, she drives to PTA and Chevy. Therefore, my friend, I think I am more Americanized than you. Now, the other guy really settled in, and he developed the Brooklyn attitude. He looked at him and said, go fuck yourself, towelhead. Love it. This man comes home from work. He sees his wife watching a cooking show on TV. He goes, hey, why are you watching that cooking show? You don't know how to cook. She looked at him over her shoulder and said, you watch porn, don't you? These three moms are talking about their teenage daughters. Brunette mother goes, I was going through my daughter's things. I found a pack of cigarettes. I can't believe she smokes. The redheaded mom goes, I was going through my daughter's things. I found a bottle of liquor. I can't believe she drinks. The blonde mom goes, I was going through my daughter's things. I found a box of condoms. I can't believe she has a penis. Mothers and daughters. Mothers give daughters the best advice. This one daughter said to her mom, she goes, Mom, I want to get divorced from Irv. The mother goes, why do you want to divorce Irv? She goes, Mom, he's a sex maniac. All he wants day and night is sex, sex, sex. When we first got married, I had a vagina the size of a nickel. Now it's the size of a 50-cent piece. The mother goes, you're crazy. Why do you want to divorce Irv? He's a successful multimillionaire businessman. You live in an 8-bedroom mansion. You go on 6 vacations a year. You drive around in a $250,000 car. He gives you $2,000 a week to spend anywhere you want. Why would you give that up for 45 cents? Come on, that's a piss off. Anybody go on those dating sites at all? You know, OkCupid, Delightful, Match.com, eHarmony, any of those? Plenty of Fish? Just me, huh? I feel like a real dick now. Well, this one couple, they meet for dinner. They, talk on one of these dating sites, and they meet for dinner. Now, she's in finance, he's in construction. She goes, let me ask you, do you drink? He goes, yes, I do. She goes, what do you drink? He goes, I drink 3 6-packs of beer a day. She goes, how much is a 6-pack? He goes, $10. She goes, do you realize if you didn't drink, you could be driving around in a Maserati now? He goes, let me ask you a question. She goes, what? He goes, do you drink? She goes, no. He goes, where's your fucking Maserati? A guy with an orange penis goes to a doctor. The doctor examines him. He comes to the conclusion the man's orange penis is work-related. The doctor said, "Excuse me, sir, what do you do for a living?" Guys, "I don't do anything. I'm really depressed. I'm unemployed. I lie around the house all day. I smoke marijuana. I watch porno movies, and I eat like cheese doodles." Stay away from the red pistachio nuts, buddy. This nun, she's on a train, and she's seated opposite a man in a turban, and he's eating a box of shrimp. And every time he finishes a shrimp, he flicks the shrimp tail right at the nun, and he sneers. Very deftly, the nun bats the shrimp tail out of the train window. He eats a shrimp, flicks it out of sneers, she bats out the window. He eats a shrimp, flicks it out of sneers, she bats out the window. Finally, when he's finished, he stands up to throw the empty box out of the train window. And as soon as he does that, the nun jumps up and she pulls the emergency cord. He goes, "Oh, you stupid nun, now you get a $250 fine." She goes, "Oh yeah, buddy, when I yell out rape and they smell your fingers, you're going to jail, you towel-headed camel-humping motherfucker." Easy, buddy. There's this old lady. She's walking down the street. She got a couple of garbage bags, one on each shoulder. And there's a policeman standing there. And he notices that one of the bags has a hole in it, and a $20 bill falls out. He goes, "Excuse me, ma'am." He goes, "You got a hole in that bag. You just lost $20. She goes, "Oh, thank you, officer." She bends down. She picks it up. She goes, "I'll retrace my steps to see if I can recover any others I might have lost." He goes, "Wait a second, ma'am. Where'd you get that money? You didn't steal it, did you?" She goes, "Oh, no, officer." She goes, "I live on a golf course, and the golfers come over to my picket fence, and they put their thingy through a knothole, and they pee on all my flowers, and they kill them. At first, I used to get very angry. Then I figured out a way I could make some money. Now when I hear them come over, I crouch down behind the fence with a pair of garden shears. As soon as they put their thingy through the knothole, I grab it, and I put the shears on. I say, 'Give me $20, I'll cut it off.'" The cop starts to laugh. He goes, "Ma'am, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. By the way, what do you have in the other bag?" She goes, "They don't all pay." Somebody asked me to tell this joke before. I noticed there's a couple of... How many Harley people in here? Raise your hand if you ride a Harley. Right there? Beautiful. All right, this joke's for you guys too. So these two fleas. These two fleas had an arrangement to meet each other every winter down in Miami for winter vacation. And one year, one of the fleas shows up. He's shaking and shivering. The other flea goes, "What happened to you?" He goes, "Oh man, you won't believe it. I rode down here all the way from New Jersey in the mustache of a guy in a Harley." The other flea goes, "You're crazy. I do what I do." He goes, "What do you do?" He goes, "I go into the Newark Airport Lounge. I have a couple of cocktails. I see a nice stewardess walk in. I crawl up her leg. I make myself comfortable. I fly down to Miami every winter, first class." The old flea goes, "That's a great idea. I'll try next year." Well, the following year rolls around, and the same flea shows up again, shaking and shivering. The other flea goes, "What happened to you? Didn't you do what I told you to do?" He goes, "As a matter of fact, I did. I went into a Newark Airport Lounge. I had a couple of cocktails. I see a nice stewardess walk in. I crawled up her leg. I made myself comfortable. I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was in the mustache of a guy in a Harley." Come on, that's a great joke, man. Grandparents, raise your hand. Granddads, raise your hand, all right? You have grandkids, you always want to kid around with them. Well, this grandfather is sitting on the back porch with his 5-year-old grandson. He reaches in his pocket, he pulls out a Marlboro. The little boy says, "Grandpa, can I have a cigarette?" The grandfather goes, "Does your pecker reach yours?" He goes, "No, Grandpa, I got a little pecker, it doesn't reach my ass." He goes, "Then you too young to smoke." A little while later, the grandfather reaches in the cooler, pulls out a cold bud, pops it, starts to drink it. The little boy says, "Grandpa, can I have a cold beer?" Grandfather goes, "Does your pecker reach your ass?" He goes, "No, Grandpa, I told you I got a little pecker." And the kid gets up, he goes inside the house. 5 minutes later, he comes back outside. He's got a glass of of milk in one hand and a dish of cookies in the other. When the grandfather sees the cookies, he goes wild. He goes, "Hey, give me one of those cookies." Little boy says, "Does your pecker reach your ass?" He goes, "Hell yeah, my pecker reaches my ass." Little boy says, "Then go fuck yourself." Grandma made these cookies for me. I told you I spend a lot of time in the shopping centers. I like the malls. Looking in the windows, seeing the different things. It's cool, air conditioning there, the food court, all of that. Well, as I'm walking around, I see this one store. It says Muslim bookstore. Being curious, I went in, I'm wandering around, and a salesman comes over. He says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes. Do you have that latest book on U.S. immigration policy towards Muslims?" He goes, "Fuck you, get out and stay out." I said, "Yeah, that's the book." "Do you have it in paperback?"